Saturday night. You and your partner, things were good, then one small thing and they were gone. Not physically, but in the way that matters. You spent the whole weekend going back through it. Every moment, every word, couldn't find it. Or maybe you're on the other side of this. You know your partner loves you. You can see it in everything they do, and you still can't let it land. Your mind is doing the math and coming out fine. Your body hasn't gotten the memo, and your body always wins. If either of those just did something to your chest, this one's for you. Rule 1. It was never about the moment. It was about the memory the moment triggered. You know that pattern in normal people. Things are good, really good. The kind of good that makes you stop bracing for a second. And then, one of them pulls away. Sometimes it's Connell, going quiet, creating distance without explanation, choosing the easier exit. Sometimes it's Marianne, sabotaging the warmth, retreating into relationships that hurt more than this one, because hurt is at least familiar. The show never lets you pin it on one person, because it isn't one person. It's two nervous systems shaped by completely different wounds arriving at the same place. Closeness is where things eventually go wrong. So when the relationship finally gets stable, really stable, neither of them fully trusts it. The body reads safety as the setup for something worse, warmth as the calm before. Here's what's actually happening, and it's not about who loves who more. Her nervous system doesn't recognize safety. It only recognizes familiarity, and familiarity, for Marianne, was never safe. So when things are finally good, her brain doesn't read it as love landing. It reads it as something is about to go wrong. Connell's does the same thing, just differently. He doesn't sabotage, he disappears, goes quiet, creates distance without ever saying why. Same exit, different door. This is called amygdala pattern matching. Neuroscientist Joseph Ledoux documented this mechanism in detail. The amygdala processes incoming signals through what he called the low road, a fast subcortical pathway that bypasses the prefrontal cortex entirely. It scans for emotional similarity to past experiences and fires a threat response before conscious reasoning gets a chance to intervene. Milliseconds. Rational thought doesn't even get a seat at the table. Your partner's brain isn't evaluating you. It's evaluating the pattern you resemble, your tone of voice, their own silence, the way a text landed, the pause before an answer. Not threats, but to a nervous system built on experiences that happened long before you existed in their life. They're indistinguishable from one. McCullinser and Shaver's attachment research documents this as hyperactivation of the attachment system. In people with anxious attachment histories, the system stays perpetually activated, constantly scanning for signals of abandonment. Present. You weren't the problem. You were the pattern match. Next time your partner goes somewhere you can't follow, don't chase, don't explain, send one message, I'm here when you're ready. Then go quiet, let the silence be safe. That restraint is the evidence they've never had. You're not fixing anything, you're just slowly becoming new data. Rule 2. The closer you get, the more dangerous you become. And that's not your fault. You think the hard part is surviving the conflict. It isn't. For a partner carrying unresolved trauma, the hardest moment isn't the fight, it's the good evening. The dinner where everything was easy. The morning they woke up and actually felt safe. The moment they thought, maybe this one is different. Because that moment requires something their system genuinely doesn't know how to do. Lower the guard. Psychiatrist Daniel Siegel introduced the concept of the window of tolerance in his 1999 work, The Zone of Nervous System Activation, where a person can function, stay present, and actually connect without either going into overdrive or shutting down completely. Van der Kolk later built on this in his clinical work with trauma survivors, documenting how early traumatic experience compresses that window significantly. Real warmth, sustained, unguarded, consistent, can push someone outside it too. Not because warmth is dangerous, because warmth requires surrender. And surrender is the one thing their system was specifically trained never to do. Trust is where every previous story went wrong. So the system does what it learned to do, picks a fight, creates distance, goes cold, right when everything was warm. They want you close. That's almost certainly true. But close is also where they were always, eventually, hurt, and the body remembers that longer than the mind does. When they pull away, don't pursue harder. Stay in the room. Do something calm. Read. Make coffee. Be processed between. Their nervous system that closeness doesn't require them to perform or brace. Rule 3. When things are finally good, that's when it gets most dangerous. Maybe that's you right now. 2 weeks of easy, open, present, that much your breath without even noticing. And somewhere underneath it, a part of you is already waiting for it to end. Then, Tuesday afternoon, A fight from nowhere. Pushback on something small. Friction that has no source you can locate. You go back through every conversation, every message, every tone of voice. Nothing. You start wondering if the good weeks were even real. They were. And the fact that you're questioning them is actually the point. When an anxious nervous system experiences sustained safety, it doesn't always settle into it. Sometimes it braces. This is too good. This is the exact setup for everything to fall apart. I need to find the crack before it finds me. McCullencer and Shaver document this as hyperactivation of the attachment system. When early caregiving was inconsistent or threatening, the attachment system learns to remain on high alert, perceiving threat in neutral interactions, even in positive ones. The system isn't responding to what's present. It's responding to what has always, eventually, followed warmth. Think of a smoke alarm that survived a real fire. Nothing's wrong with it. It's just calibrated for a level of danger in this room anymore. The nervous system isn't lying. It's working with old data. When the fight comes from nowhere, one sentence and mean it. I'm not going anywhere. We can talk when it's calmer. No sarcasm, no scorekeeping. The steadiness you bring in that exact moment is doing more than you know. Rule 4. The invisible war. They see what they are doing. This is what consumes them from within. And it is the one thing they will never say out loud. Your partner notices the exact moment they begin to drift away. They see that they are the one starting the argument. They can feel that coldness settling over them, like a weather pattern they didn't choose. And inside, something is screaming. They don't want to be this way. They are watching themselves push away the person they want most, and they feel powerless to stop it. Understanding exactly what you're doing while being completely unable to stop doing it, that gap is its own kind of suffering, one that mostly goes unspoken because there's no way to say it that doesn't sound like an excuse. This isn't indifference. Is someone losing an internal war you cannot see? Peter Levine's work revealed that trauma lives in the body, not just in memories. The body carries an unfinished response to a past threat and replays it over and over, regardless of what the person wants or what they know to be true. Your partner isn't choosing this. Their body is. Porges's polyvagal theory explains why. A nervous system shaped by early threats shifts from connection to defense faster than most people think possible. This shift doesn't respond to logic, only to repeated experiences of safety. Your partner might be able to name every mechanism in real time. It still won't matter, not through insight alone. Keep your own private record. The moments you stayed, the reactions you softened, the silences you carried. You'll need it on the days when nothing feels like it's moving. Rule 5. The anchor. You cannot heal them, but you might be the reason they do. You can be safe, consistent, the most present person they have ever had in their lives. The healing still happens inside them, through your presence, not because of it. That distinction changes everything about how you carry this. Van der Kolk is direct. You cannot think your way out of a body-based response. The nervous system doesn't need new information. It needs new experience. But here is what no one tells you. If you make their healing your project, you will eventually run out. Not because you stopped caring, because you gave everything and had nothing left. Then you leave, and their nervous system says, I knew it. Porges showed that two nervous systems in a relationship regulate each other, but only as long as both people have something left to give. An empty tank can't run the system. You become physically present and emotionally gone, which is exactly what you were trying not to be for them. Your limits protect both of you. A system raised in chaos has never seen a boundary held without punishment. Someone who says, I love you and I also need this, and truly means both at the same time, without cruelty, may be the most unfamiliar thing they have ever encountered. Name the thing you've been holding inside, not as an ultimatum, as information. When this happens, I shut down. I need it to be different. Their nervous system needs to learn that limits don't end in abandonment. Yours is how they learn. If you're the one trying to love a partner who keeps slipping away, what you're carrying is real. The exhaustion of being someone's safe place while their defenses are aimed at you. That's one of the loneliest things a person can be in the middle of. There's no metric for how many times you held your response. No record of the silences you let land. No one watching you choose to stay. But every one of those moments is in the room, whether anyone recorded it or not. And if you recognized yourself, the one whose life is mostly okay now, that whose system is still running on old software, your nervous system isn't broken. It solved the problem it was given. The withdrawal, the coldness, the sudden fight that comes from nowhere. Those were correct answers once, to a question that no longer exists. The work isn't to fix what's broken, it's to update what worked. The update is slow. Some days, nothing feels different. But somewhere in the accumulation of days where the feared thing didn't happen, where someone stayed when you gave them every reason not to, something shifts. You might not have a name for it yet. That's okay. It doesn't need one. If this reached something in you, subscribe. There's more where this came from.